Oh yeah, good evening. Back on the Hunter again to do a bit more levelling in Drustvar. Pretty much left off where I was last week, really. Just need to kill a few more spiders here. See if we can get another couple of levels today. Ah! As there's still no Shadowlands Alpha, I don't really know how current events are impacting that, really.
You mind your business, and I'll mind mine. Even rotten crops
Oh well, the first level was quite easy to get in the end. Why is Fluffykins dying? Behave yourself. Stop dying.
What is your business with House Warcraft? Keep your sales true.
Right, now I think we're off to the armory to always have to rescue someone. I should probably just track or at least untrack everything. Oh no. Okay. Everything I've got from somewhere else. You've started a Ratman monk to work on heritage armour. Ratman? You mean Vulpera or gnome? It got from level to 20 to 40 in 2 hours. That's decent. I haven't had a go at doing any levelling since the changes, actually. Because I was part of me. I mean, obviously, with limited time, I'm sort of thinking what I really ought to. In fact, I should just click on here. Let's untrack that for now, because I'm not doing that just yet. Untrack that, definitely. And whatever the hell that is can be on. Oh. Yeah. We're still going to untrack it now. Does my hunter have the XP buff too? No, what XP buff? What? Am I missing an XP buff or something? Other than from heirloom armour. But yeah, I was saying I've got limited time to do anything at the moment anyway. Even though, ironically, at the moment, quite a lot of people are finding themselves with more time. Not me. A brownish buff to the forehead. Finger. Oh, is it? Oh, so it is. Okay, yeah. What is that then? I've not. What? Where did that come from? "30-day blessing from Blizz." Lovely. Oh well, I'm not going to complain. I have levelling to do at the moment, although I don't really get time to do a lot midweek. Maybe I'll see if I can sneak the odd bit now. I'm trying to avoid, where possible, getting lots of additional quests, but as I suspect, I'm going to naturally get these as I do my stuff here. Don't mind it. Is this to keep us entertained while they have nothing to do and no alpha to keep tabs on? In which case I'm not going to criticise. Hi, gaming. It has been a while, yes. It's sort of going, well, weirdly at the moment. So, I am technically a full-time YouTuber at the moment, although I don't necessarily intend to stay that way forever. We'll see. See how it goes. But unfortunately, unlike it giving me loads and loads of time to do all sorts of things, it actually does the opposite. Oops, that's the wrong one. Oh dear. It was their excuse to market while people were quarantined at home. Well, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? I've been saying there's a lot of people going to be at home and probably going potty because, you know, their lives revolve around essentially not being stuck in the home. And here we are as gamers going, well, if we've got... I mean, I don't have any spare time as a result of this. If anything, I'm spending more time. But what spare time I do have, we can just kick back and go, oh, well, we could do this. And, you know, all those people are going, you know, get off your computer, you should be going outdoors. Now it's like, well, I'm stuck indoors, what do I do? And the gamers are there going, we have the answer. But we're not going to tell you because you were so rude to us. Because, yeah, for some people it's absolutely maddening, this situation they find themselves in. You know, they're going mad at the prospect of being stuck inside for, like, you know, months on end. It's a problem that is completely alien to us.
Get back, or you'll be meeting me hammer. Wait, you're not all right. You just lead the way.
Yes, I'm feeling fine now after the surgery some time ago.
Wait. Get on then.
What was
No
that?
sense in dragging.
Be playing this if you could afford the sub. Oh dear. Oh, hello.
You try. Take my hammer, witch.
I mean, all I'm really doing is just making sure I've got a few characters at what is now level cap in case I decide to play more in Shadowlands. I mean, Shadowlands, I don't ever want to say, oh, it's their last chance, because at the end of the day, if Shadowlands is rubbish and, you know, and I don't play it, I could easily come back in 2 years' time with the next expansion and come back, so I'm not going to say that. What I am going to say is, if it's no good, then I won't make any efforts to do it at all. I will just leave it. Unless I find myself at some point in the future with a load of spare time. At the moment, I don't have a lot of spare time, so I'm just sort of dedicating combining this with a little bit of streaming, literally just to get some characters ready for Shadowlands. When I say ready, I really just mean level capped and maybe a little bit of gear just to ease the transition towards getting quests done in the early levels. After which it won't matter because then you'll just be in quest gear.
We must drive out the darkness.
Yes, I still don't understand quite what people think they need loads of toilet rolls for, I have to say. But where I am, it should start to sort itself out at some point, because at some point the people who've bought it all out will realise their house is full of toilet roll and will stop buying it. And as there isn't an issue with supply, it should be fine eventually.
Fetch it for me. We'll see what we can do. I'll need to modify this here hand cannon of mine first. go.
But this is exactly what people should be doing. If they've got a computer and they're bored at home and they're doing the reading, get a bloody computer game.
How about we call her?
And World of Warcraft is a pretty good one. I mean, I haven't played it on a bad computer for a few years, but, you know, it has been...
Don't be trying to fire her too fast. You'll damage her.
It has been one that, as MMOs go, tends to
Steady tiller.
be quite forgiving of not having the best computer, doesn't it? Probably won't get to do that, never mind. Okay, let's not go off a sheer cliff drop. Is that stuck? No, it's not.
It's too far away.
After this, I may do the warrior. I'm just really doing it from a style point of view. The hunter has an advantage, I was saying when last did at LFR a couple of weeks ago, in that if I'm just going to do things casually, it's always a pain in the arse doing LFR on melee and stuff like that. A ranged DPS that can just run around and be an idiot. A hunter is absolutely ideal for just being a casual scrub. But the hunter, I mean, I like the style, I like the transmog on my hunter as well. But the warrior, I absolutely love my Pandaren warrior. Come here. These old gods assaults are very cutthroat, even PvE, because all the clickables are one-time use, so you can steal and be stolen from by others on your own faction. See, I've not been engaged in any of that sort of business really. Don't tell me I've gone to the dark side and stopped playing Paladin. Well, no, I'm not really playing. This is going to sound weird. I'm not really playing BfA. What I'm doing is just getting characters ready. So my Paladin's already 120 and has gear, some gear, LFR gear. I don't have any other level 120s. And I don't really feel like using a level boost just on characters that I could just level up just by spending a few weeks on it. I don't intend to really engage in any other BfA stuff. This is really getting ready to see if Shadowlands improves the game. If it does, then I'll try and spend a bit more time on the game. I'll never be able to spend loads of time again. If it doesn't, well, I think I'd rather just spend my time on other things. But we won't know that for many, many months. I mean, the alpha isn't even out there. And that won't tell you because that'll be the early stages, won't it? So, well, I say the public alpha isn't out yet. So just in case it happens to be decent enough that I think, yeah, I could spend some time on here. I just want to make sure I've got some characters ready. And then I'll decide then. So the Paladin will certainly be done. And almost certainly would be the first character I level. But when you're really casual, I don't think there's really any such... It's like two ends of the game. If you're really casual like I would be. Or if you're... proper top end, then there's no such thing as a main, is there? Really? Not in the sense I would have understood it before anyway. BfA was bad, but Shadowlands could possibly be worse. It could indeed. I mean, I was saying when I was still playing the game properly, you know, my attitude is, the bottom line, if you look at it, is BfA came out in an unfinished state. Now, what's supposed to happen in terms of the development team is some developers stay on BfA when BfA is released because they've got to, you know, they've got to do the raids and stuff like that still and some class redesigns. But essentially it's done with. And most of the developers then go to work on the other expansion, which we now know is Shadowlands. But BfA was so unfinished, they couldn't just abandon it like they did WoD, because they've already done that once. That's their get out of jail card, which didn't work that well back then. They certainly can't do it a second time. So, and I don't know how they've worked it out internally, but I cannot... They must have brought some... or I think surely they must have brought some developers that were working on Shadowlands back to BfA to do something. Which means, of course, that Shadowlands won't have had the development... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Shit, that was a gratuitous use of my exhilaration. It is called exhilaration, isn't it? Yes. So yeah, I think Shadowlands could actually be worse without me paying particularly close attention to what little we know about it already. But, you know, it's one of these things. I'm giving it... I'm not, like, putting loads of time into it, assuming it's going to be good, and then being disappointed. I'm putting minimal time in just to make sure I'm ready to capitalise if it's decent. If it's not. And I accept sometimes these things are subjective. But if it's not, then... that will be that. I will just move away from this and that'll, you know, be the end of it. You can go to sleep. Oh, what's that? Sorry. Before I start a warrior, spend a little time messing around with the current version of survival spec. I hate survival.
I could feel my mind slipping.
I don't think there's anything objectively wrong with the spec the way it's designed. I just hate the concept of another melee class. Also, do I have... I mean, at the moment... Technically, oh, hang on, am I? I'm using an heirloom bow. Do I have a suitable heirloom polearm even to use for a weapon? Let's see. Survival. Hell Screams Pig Sticker. Alright, technically I do. Alright, maybe next week we'll do some survival stuff. And if I hate it after half an hour, we'll leave it. Oh. Was I supposed to be closer with that? I think I might have been too far away. Yes, I think I was. I'll have to go and get it upgraded in Ironforge, of course. If I forget for next week, you'll have to just remind me then. Right, we're nearly done. One more person to kill. Right, not in interested in little treasures. Still prefer the range specs of Hunter, but it's good to remember survival as an option if you think about Shadowlands. Well, no, if the purpose of doing the Hunter is specifically not to be close combat. Specifically to be ranged. I mean, there's a few classes I would quite like to level up, but... Oh, hello. Have I missed something? Oh, they're over there. That's okay.
Drustvar stands firm.
Oh, dear. So the boots would be an upgrade. That would not.
Glory to House Conquest.
Oh. Super upgrade. Cracking. Right, what does he want?
Get cracking.
Collects blasting powder from... That better not be... No, it's not. Okay.
Martial arts that you
Oh,
see
oh, someone else wants something.
What's that think about one of his former guardsmen?
Do I have a druid? In which of the 4 specs do I prefer? Oh, right, for shadow. Okay, so I do. I basically used my BfA, or one of my BfA level boosts on a horde druid. So, and you know, if I decide, and I probably might, I probably might decide that I should probably have a horde character. You know, have the bulk of my character's alliance for Shadowlands, not messing about with this horde rubbish. And the druid would be the possible one there, because because I like my night elf hunter, so there's no point in doing another horde hunter, although I do have an orc hunter technically. There's no point in doing a horde warrior because I like my Pandaren warrior that's alliance, which admittedly I could change to horde, but no, I want to keep it together. The Paladin will be Alliance. You know, there's a few classes I'd sort of quite like, but the one I'm not that bothered about is Druid, or one of the ones I'm not that bothered about is Druid. So I have no objection to maybe doing that. And it's one of the few ones you can make a Tauren of and it not be ridiculous. And the spec I would most likely be while levelling would be Feral. But I have no objection to Guardian for some things as well. I have a bit of an objection to the other specs, however. I don't like the Moonkin. Apart from anything else, it makes a hell of a fuss when it gets hit. It's a bit like a gnome in that respect. And I've never really got on with Druid Resto spec for healing. So yes, it'd be Feral stroke Guardian really. You can use Glyph of Stars as bars to make you a starry version of your normal self. Yeah, I know, but no. Only make racial sounds when struck. Yes, when struck is the problem there. If you solo in, you're going to get struck. Druids are not a pet class. Who's picking on? Oh my god, I've attracted someone else. You stop. See, hunters are really good for things like that. I like hunters. I could absolutely have played a hunter if it weren't for the fact... for some reason in World of... I always keep saying this. I keep boring you if you keep watching. World of Warcraft and Warhammer are two fantasy games that I've probably spent the most time on. In fact, I certainly have. And yet I have a very different outlook on both of them. So... and I don't know why it is, but for some reason, in World of Warcraft, I can only really, if I'm going to play like for a very long time, I can only really do with the Paladin, and even then, really, preferably Ret. I don't like playing other classes for long. I like classes and I like taking them in small measures, but I couldn't really play like full time with one. Although now I don't have to because casual. Whereas in Warhammer, I absolutely love all the options, all the armies. There's maybe the odd one that I'm not as keen on, but generally speaking, I like to have them all. So, but if I hadn't been like that, if I'd have had the view, right? Are they going to join in if I start? Oh no. I forgot where I was then. Yeah, if I wasn't like that, if I was the sort of person that, you know, could play any class and wasn't really attached to any one class in WoW, I think I'd have given up the Paladin a long time ago, if I'm honest. As a main, anyway. Oh, need Merchant's Key. Oh, I've forgotten where that... Well... Oh. I've noticed while casual 11 are doing that Guardian is way better than Feral. Feral keeps constantly losing its HP with multiple mobs. Guardian just stands... Yeah, I mean, I have sort of done that in the past when I've leveled Druids. Which is to say... sometimes when you want to do a load... Because you don't always need to pull loads of mobs or even have the opportunity to do it sensibly. But when you want to, then... I mean, that's why I say Feral Guardian. Because, you know, Guardian is useful for those times as well. But I would generally be Feral because, like, a lot of, you know, things here, I'm not pulling multiple things a lot of the time. Occasionally you come across multiple things and, yeah.
Lucy, you've come. Wait, you're not Lucy. Why have you come here? May the tides favor you.
Oh, I remember this from the Alpha.
Fair winds, friend.
I remember I had some difficulty at one point with it. I can't remember what.
I need to get closer.
I mean, after this, what will it be? Warrior, sorry. I mean, there's a long time before Shadowlands itself comes out. Really. But after this, I'm thinking Warrior, potentially Death Knight, maybe Rogue. Is there anything else I'd want to do on the Alliance? I don't think there's anything after that I would desperately want to do on the Alliance. So then I could level my Horde Druid, which I already have at 110. Oh, wow. And maybe that could be my Horde one for Shadowlands. If indeed I decide that I want to play it. I mean, the thing that'll be important to me will be not having loads of crap to do. Like, I won't be interested in doing I know things like emissaries and being there'll be some form of artifact power. Oh yeah, the monk. I'd like to get my monk up. Yeah, my Pandaren monk. I like my monk. Or my dwarf monk. Ah, I like my dwarf monk for Christmas, but he doesn't actually need leveling for that. All right, yeah, I remember this now. Yes. There's actually quite a few characters now that I think about it. Basically, everyone apart from the casters.
Lucy is merely following her heart, Meredith. Just as I did when I wed you.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Isn't doing our house any favors.
God almighty, look at this. I'm nearly at next level, yeah. 100% increased experience indeed.
Why would my husband put his notebook in Lucille's pack? Are you
Oh, dear.
daft?
I don't believe I left them with Lucy's letters, but I suppose it's
We
prudent
are
to be sure.
looking for a book. Don't you think we would have already checked the bookcase?
A bit of a cow, that one. Oh, I didn't check the log. I can't remember whether it's up here or not.
Trying to waste our time?
Oh, you found it. Thank the tides. Please inform the happy couple I will be down shortly.
Right.
Oh, and do convey my apologies for the delay.
Hang on a minute.
What do you need? Fair winds, friend.
I need to get closer. Here he comes.
But where is Lady Crest?
Please forgive my tardiness.
It's fine, Father. Where is Mother?
She will be down shortly. She asked that I begin in her stead. Shall we?
By all means. Please proceed, Father.
Very well. Friends, family, and honored guests, we gather on this fine autumn day to celebrate
very
the
many
joining
honoured guests.
of Lucille and Alexander. As the Lord governing Drustvar, and as Lucille's proud father, it is my honor to wed these two in the presence of the land, the sky, and the sea. Alexander, have you prepared the... Wait, what was that?
Nothing personal, kid.
Alexander! No!
An ambush! Lucy, get behind me! Guards, to arms!
God, not dropping any loot.
Far away.
Oh. Does anyone know what the actual... Has Blizzard said anything about the... I know there technically isn't a delay in the alpha because they don't ever say when it's coming out other than just releasing it. Does anyone know if they've said anything why it's later than you might expect? Because they have said that Shadowlands is coming out this year, haven't they? How many moons are in the Drustvar skybox? I have no idea. None in this one that I can see.
Here is your money, outlaw. Take it before anyone sees you.
Always a pleasure doing business
Oh,
with
hang
you,
on.
lady.
Basement.
Seems we have a visitor.
Idiot! There can be no witnesses!
Don't worry. I'll get rid of this pest.
You had better!
Lady Waitress is a powerful enemy. You will regret seeing this.
Huh. Oh, did I not pick something up?
I don't have a target.
Yes.
Well met.
Another one.
Keep your sails flat.
What's the old neck doing? 5.
I can leave the memories of this place behind. Thank you, friend.
What did I get? Oh, it's just a quest item.
The Marshal sent me to find a cannon for you. Looks like this one's free. Yeah. Now, if you don't mind, I've got a few more scores to settle.
Huh. Well, let's have a look. Worried about the Covenant system making contradictory and senseless story mismatch, given that it never made sense for your Tauren Druid to even cooperate with the BfA campaign.
But where are the others?
No, this is true. Will he be clicking accept quest or more evil stuff in Covenants that violate his story arc? I mean, I don't know. Oops, get that one. It's part of this attempt to try and get more sort of engagement in the stories, I suppose, that I just see as completely senseless. There's certain things in WoW you could change. I think there's some things that there's no real point, because it's the way it is. Like profession, there's certain things I would like to change. Like professions, I think are just, they've never been done well. But at the same time, the way they are in the game, you can make improvements to them, but you can't fundamentally change the system. Same with the way quests are done, I think. It is tricky in an MMO to have something. I think the way like Star Wars The Old Republic get away with it is because the decisions you make are in your personal story. Oh crap. Are not hang on a minute, I might need to. Try and concentrate a little bit there. Whereas in WoW, they want to make these decisions in the main story arc. But then the problem that means is that the decisions you make end up being inconsequential because you have to share the main story arc. And they don't want to give you an individual story arc because after Legion thought, oh, this takes too long and only so many people see it. I don't know. It's just from my point of view, a usual thing of not really thinking things through. Oh crap! Maybe respawned a bit quick. Come here, you. Oh, actually, I want to kill more of these. Alright, whatever that was about. Oh no. I've already killed you once, I don't need to kill you again. Legion writers managed to figure out a way to include all classes and be true to their art. They just abandoned the mindset in BfA. Well, they didn't find a way in Legion. What they did is they created class stories. That's how they did it. So it didn't really impact the main storyline that everyone had to share. It was individual ones for the class. And even then, there were very few actual decisions to be made that changed anything of consequence. But they also decided in Legion that they didn't like the fact that they'd done the class stuff, because as they noted, you know, you've got like a dozen classes and you make a story arc for one class, and the other players, I mean, yeah, some players have multiple classes, but not everyone does, and those players are never seeing that content. So they're making the content for like probably a bit over a 12th of the population, but you know, not much more really. That was the issue they had with it, and that's, I mean, that's their words, that's what they said about it. What is this? All right. Oh well, let's do it. Let's use it on that then.
Fuel my rituals.
Surely if people cared about the story, they made outs like I did. Well, no, because not everyone has time to do that. Oops, hello. Who's this? Why have you cursed my doggy?
The mother guides my blade.
Goodness sake, come back here.
Blasted witches and their barriers. The darkness.
And besides, it was still a lot of extra work for them. It was a lot of extra time. I mean, think about it this way. BfA was not released on time. Imagine if on top of everything else they'd have done multiple class quests. And I know you might say, well, they did that in BfA, but in Legion, sorry. In Legion, they had a ridiculous amount of time to do it. They had more time on Legion than any expansion there's ever been, because WoD was abandoned, so they could spend extra time on Legion. And also, they massively increased the size of their development team. But that wasn't, you know, none of those advantages were afforded to them in BfA. And they spent, I would say, a lot of wasted time on BfA messing about with bloody features that no bugger wanted. You know, like the GCD on certain cooldowns and things like that. And I wouldn't say it took a lot of time to piss about with Master Loot, but they did anyway. Actually, there's a few things they messed about and I can't even remember all of them now. That's how long it is since I've been playing. Am I going to try and get the manual of Dynamancy, or the item that lets you tame mechanical hunter pets? No, I don't think so. Don't really. I like fluff. I've got a few pets that I already like. I don't need more. I'm more than happy with Fluffykins and the rest of his... Who else have I got? I've got Bellyache the bear. I've got a Netherray who doesn't have a name, so I obviously don't care about him much. I've got Snuggles. And I've got Spanky. They're all I need. In fact, they're more than all I need, actually. Come on, get it killed. Oh, bollocks. Alright, fine. Looks like we're going to have an extended fight then. Anyway, mechanical pets are the stuff of gnomes. You should know how I feel about that. Oh, God. Oh, might as well go this way now. So let's just kill this thing first. One of the best mechanical pet stealth around outside the Hunter Lodge is High Mountain near Fordfly, but no. No. Right, what else am I... South... Oh. We're not doing mechanical pets.
I obey.
That would be an item for gnome sympathizers. I mean, I will admit, in vanilla I did get a mechanical squirrel pet, but that was before I knew better.
Your alacrity is appreciated. We will convene with Miss Wakefist. The Heartsbane commands.
Well, mechanical pets could be a goblin specialty, but yeah, but they're not, though, either. They're gnomes. I have no issue with goblins, but then, if we're honest, they're not. It's a gnome thing. Goblins are more about the bombs than the pets. They're more practical. Where's this gate? Is it through this bloody lot? Am I done with Horde? I don't, yeah. I mean, as I was saying earlier, I may make a Horde character for Shadowlands if I decide to play Shadowlands. I'll wait and see. But, I mean, I never really wanted to be Horde in the first place. I've only ever gone Horde for, you know, when I've had to for raiding guilds. You know, to get into a suitable raiding guild. But as I'm not raiding now, yeah. So my Paladin will stay there until Shadowlands. I really don't want to change faction when it could screw up a load of quests.
Thank you, friend. I was not looking forward to meeting the end of a pike.
The mother guides my blade.
Never really got on with Horde. Well, in World of Warcraft, that is. I mean, in actual Warcraft 3, the one I preferred to play was Undead, you know, Forsaken.
The Heartsbane commands.
And as I say, as my Paladin, which is currently Horde at the moment, is essentially... I mean, he's 120. I'm not going to do anything particularly with him. He's done a few LFRs. He may do a few more. I haven't done Ulganoth yet. At some point, you know. I said Ulganoth, sorry. Stop that. I haven't done all the fights enough. I haven't done the final Exalt fights and stuff like that. So at some point I may just do that just for the spectacle. But effectively, done with. You want Lillian Voss to cut off Sylvanus' head and casual kick it off a wall. Sylvanus is pretty much untouchable, I would feel. You know, allow me which else are falling over. She's, you know, she's one of the oldest and, you know, most frequently used major characters.
Glory to House Warcraft.
Drustvar stands firm.
I still think there's a redemption story in her.
To rescue Lord and Lady Warcraft and put an end to this insufferable coven. Stick close. Do not stop your advance until we breach the manor
I'm out
gates.
of range.
I probably won't actually do that.
Keep moving. We've got this. Go for the eyes, Winston.
You screeched at the wrong woman, witch.
Oops.
We'll cover the flanks. And then the marshal.
Ian's. Oh, I don't think it's even anything to do with Ian Hazakostas. He's just in. She's been in the game, and she's played a major part of every aspect of the game since she was introduced.
Mother? Is that you?
I'm so glad you could join us, my dear. Your father has missed you so.
What? What have you done to him?
Be appreciative, girl. Not only is your father alive and well, but he will soon be Lord of all Corteras. Come join us, child.
Keep away from her, you heartless witch!
Why, Marshal, that's no way to talk to a lady.
Don't think it's possible to have redemption when she won't admit responsibility. Oh no, well, the redemption I thought of, that I thought would happen in this expansion, would be one where she realises she's been played and she actually sacrifices herself for something. I think that's what it'll be, not her go, you know.
Marshal, you dear, and bring Lucille to
That's
my
how I think it'll be
quarters.
anyway.
After you dispose of these pests. Come, Arthur.
As you wish, Mother.
Oh dear.
No! This is not right!
Fight it, Marshal!
Dearest Lucy, I have failed you. I'm sorry.
No, Marshal. No. Mother, what have you done? How can I help?
It doesn't really matter, I'm not using them, am I?
The Coven will pay for their atrocities. Inquisitors, the final battle is upon you. May the winds be at your back.
What level are we on? I'm just thinking I want to leave enough levels left to do Storm Song as well. I don't really want to do this quest, do I? Do I? Now, am I going to be able to? Yes, as long as I can access the book as well. And this is all fine. But I'm just thinking I want to actually hunt around for more of these bloody books. And I have already fought through these for more quests. Oh. Well, that appears to be a horde one.
You'll make a worthy sacrifice.
This would be one of those scenarios where if I'd have actually been playing it on my main and I got the Pathfinder, I could just be flying about, couldn't I? 2 more. There's one. Oh, I had a witch. Right, where's that book? Oh, there it is. And there's another one.
You'll make a worthy sacrifice.
Did I ever play Diablo 3? Yes. I've experience with the Witch Doctor. So with Diablo 3, I don't play it a lot, and I mean, it came out, of course, and I got it free like a lot of people would have done with the Cataclysm annual pass thing, as we waited for Mists of Pandaria. Now, I did play it on the day it came out, but only for about an hour, and I didn't really get on with it. I didn't like it. I've never played Diablo 1 or 2, just for context. So yeah, I didn't get on with it, didn't play it again. Then I played it a few years ago. I can't remember when, but it was a good few years ago. And I was able to play it. I just thought it was a bit of casual stuff, and I got into it a bit more. And this was when Reaper of Souls was out. And I'm sure I did. I think I played most of the characters. I started off with the Templar. I mean, that's when I returned. That's how long it had been out when I returned, because the Templar was a thing. Did play the Witch Doctor. I don't remember if I played the Witch Doctor right to the end, but I wouldn't really remember anything about really any of them, other than remembering that I liked the Witch Hunter with the dual crossbow, hand crossbows, and thinking that would be quite cool for, let's say, a Demon Hunter. A ranged Demon Hunter spec in World of Warcraft when Legion came out. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to sort of answer any Diablo 3 questions because I don't, I played it to the end. I played a little bit of what you might call endgame, a little tiny bit, and then not a lot. Because it's only the sort of game I would ever get into very casually. Right. Fall of Culane. Do I go there next?
Friend or foe. Glory to House.
Seems like the one class that should not be transferred to WoW. I'm not sure why we have Death Knights and Warlocks, but they seem to keep witches as villains in WoW. Well, I mean, Warlocks are villains in WoW, really. I mean, there's a reason why in both Orgrimmar and Stormwind, the Warlock places, in fact, even in Ironforge, really, the Warlocks were kept in the dark places because they weren't supposed to be socially acceptable even in WoW. It's just that you can play a Warlock and they always find some way of, like, turning a blind eye to it, I suppose. Right, just in case that comes in useful at some point.
Champion, if I may have a word with you, I would like your assistance. We've not a moment to waste. Hail, Falconhurst hasn't been heard from in days. Glory to House Waycrest. I will meet you there.
I mean, Death Knights have been retconned now to the point where they're not at all considered. I mean, they're still maybe shunned in societies. They were like the WoW societies, but they're not. They are very firmly not villains anymore. Any of them, as far as I can tell. As far as I'm concerned, There are no villainous Death Knights left in the game. Excuse me. It's just that there's probably a lot of the citizenry don't trust them still. Because they don't necessarily know about all the accolades that the hero Death Knight would have carried out. We've accepted werewolves and zombies. Zombies? Have we? What's the zombie? What am I missing? What's the zombies? Do you mean the Forsaken? Yeah, okay. I mean, you say we, the Alliance still haven't, sort of, some have. Hence the Before the Storm story. I was thinking that would be the precursor to having allied, undead allied race for Alliance. But they seem to have fundamentally changed the way allied races really work in... Well, not fundamentally, but... They certainly haven't done that. Deciding instead that goblin furries are the way forward. And a more annoying version of gnomes. Because, reasons. Am I going to be able to get there?
We shall drive back the darkness. Remain steadfast. Clear for action. Fair winds and following suit. Part of her militia. Well, if we follow orders, none of those monsters will ever make it down to Arendstad. Let's help.
Why is it my pet protecting me? Come on. What level are we on now? Nearly 117. Is 117 when the legendaries stop working? Or do they still work at 117 and it's 180 when they actually stop? Guess I'm going to find out soon.
It seems as if the Cultirans in this steel are civilians, sailors, and some farmers. Wait, this depicts one of the early Cultiran settlements. One of the lost settlements. When we landed here, we tried peace. The Drust went to war immediately. Only a few tolerated new neighbors. But this... they've glorified the slaughter. The Cultirans don't even have weapons.
I'm out of range.
Stop hitting me. If you hit my pet, that's how pet classes work. There we go.
I need to get closer.
Do I misdirect regularly? Not regularly, no. Only if... It's usually I'd only do it if it's a group and I think I might get mugged. Even if it's a small, weakish group, I don't even bother then usually. It's usually fine without. Don't even have it macro at the moment. At least I don't think I do. Right, where's you come from?
It is too far away. I'm out of range.
That's one down.
Farewell.
I'm pretty sure there's rocks I'm supposed to be doing as well. Like those monoliths. I haven't really done many of them. I suppose it'll actually, if I just kill more of these, it'll show me where they are. Won't it? So what I like the hunter for, you can just be doing your stuff and having a look around as well while you're at it. And jump around like an idiot. Right, I'm going to have to go into that cave at some point. Oh no, I can't remember details. But at some point I'm going to head in there. Right, okay. Loading count towards my kill count. And now there's that one doing. Oh. Balls.
It is too far away. Aim for the target.
Right. Right. We have to kill more of them. I just didn't know where these stones were. Oh, over there. Can I sneak through without attracting any undue attention? I get so far, I'm going to get this one on her.
It's a victory over another Coltiran settlement. The large figure in the center is their legendary leader, I think. Interesting that we don't see any of their constructs taking the field.
Oh, something's after me. Get into the open. Oh, no, okay. Where's my companion? Where's the other one? Let's hope they've made it back here by the time I finish these off. There they are. Next one.
This is clearly Gorak-Tal, their greatest leader. Ah, he is leading a ritual to create the stone constructs. The constructs began to take the field. He'd run out of living warriors, so he created a new army. What empowered the stones? Interesting. I hadn't realized the constructs came later as part of his desperation to win.
I'm not supposed to respawn before I've even killed me.
This isn't Drust. It's a Coltiran carving over a Drust monolith. That's Lord Aram Waycrest, and he was just a colonel.
Right, let's have a look.
Final assault. And there, that is
So that means it no longer works, doesn't it?
stabbed by Waycrest. Histories of this event always say Lord Aram killed Gorak-Tal.
So they're just
and army
stat
fell
sticks now.
thereafter. But here you can see all his
Oh, level.
constructs
Oh, they ran out at
shattered,
level 116. Oh,
stabbed,
God.
his power broken. There was some
Okay.
connection.
So let's just see if I happen to have anything. Yes, I do. So I could use that. That gets me an extra 5% experience as well. But I don't have anything to replace the risk, so that's fine. And I thought we'd end up in the cave at some point. Do you know what? That's maybe why I was noticing a little bit more difficulty of aggro with the pet,
Another
because
steal.
that other
This one
legendary had
also shows
stopped working.
Gorak-Tal. It is after the battle, but Tal isn't shown dead. Wounded and broken, but not dead. Gorak-Tal did not survive. Witnesses wrote of his defeat.
Your ancestors were fools, as are you. The Coltiran plague will be cleansed, and we will retake our lands. But you will not live to see that day. Arise, Guardian, and slay these trespassers!
stand strong.
No.
Fair winds. I will do some scouting and meet you further down the path.
Underway. Keep a weather eye open.
Hang on a minute. This may not be the way. Or it may. Or it may be a way. Wait a minute, I'll just check something.
Over here. Well met, champion. Strike true. I'll help reinforce the village's defenses.
Mainland.
I will meet you there.
Would I fancy killing that? Looks a bit big.
I need a target.
goodness sake. Embarrassing, it's getting mugged by a hunter. Or as a hunter.
Don't get many travelers here.
How might I help?
Oh, what the hell? Why does it hurt? Why does everything hurt?
Stand strong. Strike true.
Oh.
We shall drive back the dark.
Waste. That was an upgrade. Waste is a bigger upgrade. Stop killing me. It's rude. Right. Apart from anything else, I shall need to transmog all this now.
I have many, many wares. Good fortune to our friends.
Once you've had a rest, switch out with someone else on the barricade. We must outlast these thieves. Keep it up, people. We're only...
Possess power beyond your comprehension.
Gun from Karazhan might match the transport. Oh, I don't like guns. What I'd, I mean, the bow I'd quite like is actually Illidan's. Every now and then I do a bit of Black Sepul just to see if I can get it, but oh, this is hurting quite a lot. Oh. Oh no. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Ah. quite a lot. That'll be food. No. Oops, what's happened? How come it's reverted to that? Alright, sorry, something really weird. I don't know why it keeps being so... I need to sort something else out on the stream as well, because the way I stream at the moment, I've said this before, maybe next week it'll work, the week after it'll definitely not work, because they're taking away that method. And yet when I tried the method they want you to use, it never seems to actually work. I'm not going to even take that.
My title is Inquisitor now, Mayor. Lady Lucille has reforged the Order's Ember.
Oh yeah, I don't mind doing a quest for a kid. Not doing that one. Might do this one up here.
She has? I thought they were just a legend.
They were real. They are real.
No.
The attack on Falconhurst was fierce. I hope Master Ashton is still alive.
If anyone could survive,
If she does that,
I'm going
she'll
to check
have
the
my
lab's
full support.
gardens, Inquisitor.
I may even have the one from Karazhan. I used to farm that on the hunter. I don't remember. But yeah, I really don't like guns. Like on a dwarf I wouldn't mind, obviously it'd suit a dwarf better. On a night elf, the bow is the thing. It's a bit of a pain doing Karazhan. Not Karazhan, sorry, Black Temple. I don't do it that often. I need to go down into that cellar. I think I do. Oh crap. There's a night elf that doesn't mind a gun. Excuse me. Ah, dude. It's dear. Don't worry, it's not symptoms of the plague. But when I do start sneezing, I keep sneezing. One of those things, it goes on for quite a while for some reason. So there may be more to come. Ugh. this another one where there's a cellar? Yes.
What challenges await us today, friend? Fair winds to you. Well, don't you both look dangerous? The town is in good hands. So, would you kindly explain what is going on?
Master Ashton, we have been sent by Lady Lucille Waycrest to find you.
So I gathered. But why me?
Oh,
Lady Lucille
what's
has reforged the Order of Embers.
what does he want?
Ancient text says
That lumber, bloody hell.
will fight these witches as we once battled the Drust. She found an alchemical recipe that infected the past. She requests that you return to recreate the formula.
Lady Lucille thinks it might be useful, I assume? Well, let's see it. Fascinating. A remarkable formulation. Very flammable. Inquisitor, it will be my distinct pleasure to assist you and the Lady Lucille in this task.
I am very glad to hear that, Master Ashton.
You put out those fires and I'll set up what we need in the lab. Oh, what fun this will be.
Can I get 2 here? Yeah, can. I can't really have pigs as hunter pets, suppose I know, but not pigs proper. No, I suppose not. Would you want to, though?
I need to get closer.
I don't actually have a boar on this character. You would name it and X. Oh. See, you mustn't eat your pet as a hunter, or indeed as anyone, I suppose. But especially not as a hunter. More fires required. Consulted about no ducks in Azeroth. Alright. Are we sure about that? Not even in Pandaria? Because I've got a bit of an inkling. I can't remember distinctly. Are we sure there's no ducks? Oh, we've done the fires as well. Okay, right. should do that.
I need a target.
It's a fine day for a little applied alchemy.
Oh no, I hate these things.
Shall we get started?
Right, what have we got here? Saltpeter, volatile sap. Come on, what do we need? Saltpeter. Gordon Bennett. Do we need anything other than saltpeter? No, apparently more saltpeter is what's required. Volatile sap. Right, we didn't need the other ingredients at all. Where? There you are.
What challenges await us today, friend? Remember, measure twice, pour once.
Hello there.
Feet. I suppose that might upgrade. I'm not using that anyway. So let's try this.
Fair winds and
No, it
following
didn't.
seas.
Oh, I think I know which one this is. That's the one in the cave, isn't it? Could do that on my paladin. I'm not convinced about my hunter, but let's give it a go. Maybe.
Daddy says I need my sea legs, but I already got 2 legs.
Right.
Many deals for a friend of the
Not really going to be doing Storm Song or much of Storm Song at this rate, am I? Never mind. Right, let's. Actually. I do seem to remember this is tricky. Like I can do it on the paladin, but my paladin, to be fair, I suppose at this point it wasn't. I was going to say my paladin was geared in legendaries, but I can't remember when I was doing the alpha, that is. But it depends on when you were doing Drustvar. Have I gone? I've gone too far. If you mean the 3 elites, yeah, trap. Well, I was certainly thinking of trapping one. I'm not sure about stun the other. I'm not sure what talents you think I've got. I don't think I have a stun. I think I have to do 2 either way. Oh no, do you know what? This is a really good way to do it when someone else is there. So that's 2 of them. So what will have to happen is when the other one gets up, I'll just have to trap one, spam the crap out of the one I haven't killed, which is Thorn, and then run away. Greyish looking ability. No, that's a interrupt. What the greyish looking ability is there? If I had a stun, it'd be on E. Oh, there's stun. Right. Right, we're going to get away with this. We're not even going to aggro the others. So, we don't have to do any trickery at all. Come on with your unflinching defense. I can see in my stun, the usual place where I have a stun, there is a macro that's clearly not working anymore. Oh, do you know what? It's pissing me off with this thing. Oh, I can interrupt it. Okay, fine. Alright. Piece of piss. I don't know why when I fortified the village there's still things here. Never mind.
We could use your help here in
Oh, intimidation. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. I'll put it there for now then. I see it must have been on a macro that for some reason doesn't work anymore. Because what was in that place was a macro. Because E is where I put my stuns. Doesn't last very long though, does it? Only stuns for 5 seconds. It would only give me brief respite. And you'd need to use your pet to do it as well. Alright, those are what I want. Better kill this just on the safe side. What is this? Oh, for goodness sake. I don't want to get mugged by... I'm a constant... Do you know what? It is absolutely embarrassing how much I'm getting mugged as a hunter. I know I'm not tracking anything, but still. That's not what I want. There it is. Oh, there's another. That one will do. Or indeed that one will do.
I tried my best to fight them off.
I know you did, Martin.
When you show
up.
Ring, no.
Master Ashton shoved me aside and they took him. We have to get him back.
New information. Remain steadfast. We will get him back. Just
Yeah, I'm not going through all that lot at the moment. So I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to... Where's the... Oh, nearest flight point. Go to Borrowless, chuck this unnecessary gear through the scrapper. And then we'll go to Ironforge, upgrade the spear so that I'm ready to do some survival next week, potentially.
You mind your business, and I'll mind mine.
Oh, where do I want to go? Do I want to go there?
May blight fall upon
I don't think I want to go to the keep. Can't remember where I actually want to go. Survival still uses a pet, which can have Growlunks. Yes. Yeah, I haven't actually used survival at all in BfA, even in the alpha. And I didn't use it that much in Legion. I had a moral objection to crowding out the melee specs with yet another that was unnecessary. Or melee classes, really. And I accepted that, you know, it plays well. Or it did in Legion anyway. But it was just not necessary. Bottom of the 3 in DPS performance. Well, things like, you know, so-called DPS performance is usually based on raiding, isn't it, where you're playing it well. This is sometimes what, you know, a spec that's not great in a raid scenario can actually be very good solo. But solo, I would, you know, usually Beastmaster is pretty strong for you. You say likely to get buffed in Shadowlands? I wouldn't say so. I mean, I wouldn't say there's an imperative for them to buff it. Hunters traditionally are a ranged class. The survival spec was part of the Legion attitude of making all specs different, so that each spec was like an individual class, which I powerfully disagree with. Yeah, I'm in the wrong place, aren't I? Right, where do I actually want to be? Bridgeport? Oh, Tradewinds Market probably. Because yeah, I mean that's but because it's not, you expect to play ranged as a hunter, even though you don't have to. And also, you'd be better off for the most of the time anyway. Let's face it, in raids, nothing's fundamentally changed in WoW when I've been away, I bet. If you have a ranged spec, you generally want to play that ranged spec, just whether, you know, performance aside. Just because the mechanics are less punishing for having lots of ranged as compared to lots of melee. It's very rare you get a fight where it's the other way around. Occasionally you do, but very rarely. But the only one I can remember from Legion was Gul'dan. There might have been another one, but there may have been. No, there wouldn't have been very many in the whole expansion. Generally, melee DPS think it's a win if there's a fight where, yeah, you can get away with a load of melee.
I have many lucky doos you like.
Hang on a minute, and then we'll play where. There it is. Right, Ironforge. Let's see then, just for the last few minutes. And here's the dark places for the criminals. Well, rogues and warlocks actually, isn't it? Both of them are shady. Rogues being, after all, thieves essentially. Thieves and assassins. Right.
What's on your mind?
So,
Off with you.
oops. So I want 2 weapon ones.
See you soon.
What do I think of the uses of Magni in the last year or two? I mean, it was the sort of thing that, you know, I imagine was planned long in advance. I mean, it's. I think it's fine. I think it works. Could stick gems in them. Is there anything else I should get? Not a necklace. The rest of my gear would be fine for it, wouldn't it? Let's see now. So change to survival. I'd have to set up keybinds. I haven't really got time to do that now, but let's see. This is how it was set up from last time. And we'll need to do that. Now, I'll tell you what we will set up together the last few minutes is how we're going to transmog this. Because that is not going to... It looks alright, but it's not suitable. Right, so... New... oh, that's the one from Sunwell Plateau. But no, Terox Quill doesn't look fancy enough somehow. That looks fancy enough, but not ideal. I can use the red scythe. I could use the red scythe. Use that. That looks alright. I don't know. No. I think the red one might go with it. It might work, you know. Flame Wrath. Hell Reaver. Glaive of the Pit? No. Do you know what? I think we're going to go for the scythe. Oh, in fact, I've got a full. I'd already worked one out for the scythe. I must have thought about this in advance. Alright, this is what we're going with. Is it? That looks alright, doesn't it? There's our survival. Who will we have for our survival pet? Let's have... Should we have Spanky? Oh, I can't use exotic creatures. Oh, balls. Alright, we'll have Bellyache then. A red pet. I don't think I have a red pet. I've got Bellyache. Brown is complimentary. That looks... Oh, it's fine. That's fine. Right, so... Just to get that on cooldown, we'll go back to Borrelus. Red bug raptors from what? No. I have my pet. I mean, I could get Snuggles out. Yeah, I have a Ravager. Snuggles. Oh, and then let's have a look at Snuggles. Oh, I've got to dismiss him first. God, I'm not used to dismissing pets. Where the hell? Oops. Dismiss. Oh, it's an exotic creature. Can't do an exotic creature. Bellyache's back. What's that gnome doing there? Piss off. Don't need to be around gnomes. Don't they know there's a pandemic going on? Right, so we'll leave that there then. Next week I'll, before I come on, attempt to sort out my bindings, and then we will see. But I'll probably only give it half an hour, then I'll probably get sick of it. But we will see. We'll never know. So thanks for coming on, everyone, and until next time, until next week, in fact, I will see you later.